Today, I'm sharing with you 7 digital products that you can make and sell from your laptop within the comfort of your home. Some of these products can make you over $29,000 a month, and there's a lot of variety here, so there should be something for everyone. Digital products mean you're keeping 91% profit margin, and they're almost completely passive. We're actually going to jump into my computer so I can show you real examples. We'll look at how much each product can realistically make, and I'll also share some of the best tips I've learned as to how to get started and what actually makes each one of these products work. The first digital product being a lead magnet template. Now, I saw this study, which showed that the creator economy is projected to grow to over 1,487 billion, which is actually just 1.4 trillion, I think, by the year 2034. Right now, we're in a creator economy where there's kind of a shift taking place from big companies doing all the business and making all the money to independent creators on social media finally having a chance to eat. A lead magnet is something that social media creators can give out to their viewers in exchange for more followers or those viewers' emails. These are some examples of lead magnet templates. They're basically just some kind of guide or valuable digital download. And what happens is creators on social media will give these away for free, but they make them thousands of dollars in business by helping that creator grow their audience or build up their email list that they can send marketing emails to. These templates basically allow the creator to change out some of the wording and the images and then give it away to their audience for free. But since they can take a while to make, it saves the creator a ton of time. This digital product sort of lets you tap into that creator economy without having to grow a social media following for yourself. You can also target specific niches. So if you know more about fitness or organization, it'll be easier for you to make those type of lead magnets, and that's what you can sell. And also keep in mind, this is a product targeted at other business owners. So you're selling to people who already have followers or are already making money, so they have money to spend on a product like this. At least on this website, which is Creative Market, the templates seem to be selling for around $19 and up to $79 for the more premium lead magnets. And they almost all seem to be built in Canva, which not only makes it easier to make them, but also to distribute them using Canva's built-in template sharing feature. And although we can't see the exact sales that these particular templates are making on Creative Market, I found this shop that's selling similar products just over on Etsy. And since all the sales data is public on Etsy, I was able to use Listing View to analyze it and saw that some of the products that were posted pretty recently are already making a great amount of money. For example, this one that was posted just 10 months ago has already made over $25,000. If you're gonna go with this digital product, or honestly any of them for that matter, the most important thing you can do is stay consistent. You have to start by making your first lead magnet template, but then you can duplicate it, make some changes to the colors, the fonts, and the images, and just make it slightly better and post that one for sale too. Making small iterations like this over time is how you eventually make great products that people want to buy. Plus, it's kind of great practice for if you ever wanted to have your own social media following. Not to mention that you could just repurpose your lead magnet templates as their own digital product and sell them as is. If it's valuable enough for someone to buy, it's definitely valuable enough for a content creator to give away to their audience in exchange for a follow or an email address. The next digital product on the list is the only one that isn't always as passive as some of the others because it can come as a pre-made product or a custom product, and that's selling map prints. Now, this is actually the same product that I sold when I first got started, and I think it was a great choice because it's not that complicated and there isn't too much competition. Now, when I say maps, there's a few different types of maps that you can sell. The first is going to be a pre-made map. So this is just going to be a map of a general area. For example, this is Denver, Colorado, which is where I live. And it's just a stylized map of an area, which can be kind of a cool decoration if people want to hang it up on their wall. So for example, this listing, it's just $5 and it sells slowly, but it sells passively over time. Now, this is most likely not going to be a super viral product. So you're making it more as an evergreen product that's going to sell slower over time. But when you consider that there's thousands and thousands of cities and hometowns that people are passionate about, you could make a map for each one and build up a nice passive income stream over time. Another quirk about this product is you can sell it anywhere from around $17 up to $200 for a canvas print. Now, even though a customer is going to get a physical product from this listing, it's basically the same as a digital product using a business model called print on demand. It basically lets you sell custom printed products like these posters and canvases with your designs printed on them without having to hold any inventory yourself. But I've already made a ton of videos covering how to do this business, so I'll leave that for another video. Now I found this shop that's selling a bunch of different map options. They've got a ton of different styles, but by far their most successful product out of their whole catalog is this anniversary style map. Now this doesn't sell passively because the customer gets to choose the location that goes on the map, either a location that they met or that they get married in, I guess. And then it's just highlighted on the map by the seller with their name and any other details. Now the seller has to customize each map, but that means that it sells for more and it sells more often. Listing View shows us that this listing has made over $136,000 just in the last year and 8 months. These constellation style maps are a very similar idea, and they also make an absolute bag. They're just taking an image of the night sky and selling it. Again, Listing View shows us that this single listing has made over $400,000 or a little over $100,000 a year. And although it seems super niche at first, it's an evergreen type of product where some people have been able to build entire businesses around the idea. This was the idea that made me my first $100,000 online. I would sell similar map prints, just printed on posters, canvases, digital downloads, and mugs. The thing that initially made me really successful is that I sold custom map prints early on so that my shop started getting sales, and then I pivoted into the more passive pre-made maps after I already had some momentum. The key was I was consistent before I was making sales. That brings us to product number 3. Now look, it's no secret that people like to decorate their walls with art. And that's exactly why it sells so well. I mean, even this listing, despite just how simple it is, has made over $80,000 in profit, granted over the last 6 years. But some much newer listings, like this one, is already making over $40,000 a year. And yes, it's also super simple, and all of these images could definitely be made using AI. Both of those listings could basically be made entirely with AI. But what you have to realize is that just because it can be made with AI doesn't mean that it's not going to sell. Most people who want to hang a piece of art on their wall just want something that looks nice. They don't need to know how to use the AI themselves, and they definitely don't care about learning how to write a prompt. That's why when I see shops like this one that's selling digital download art, where just in the last 2 years' time, they've already done over $500,000 in profit, even though their art could definitely be made using AI. Customers are happy to pay $3 to $5 for a print, and a lot of the time, they're not even gonna realize that it was made with AI, and if they do, most of the time, they're happy to not have to go through the hassle of learning how to use it and come up with the art themselves. The thing you have to understand is that when AI artwork first became good enough to sell, everyone in my comments section thought that everyone else was going to start selling it since it seemed so easy to do. But what actually happened is since everybody thought that everybody else was going to do it, nobody actually stuck with it. And those who did realized that AI is just a tool and you still have to learn how to use it. The shops that make a healthy full-time living selling this type of product have uploaded a ton of prints and continue making and posting a lot of new prints despite their success. To be successful with this type of product, and honestly any product, you have to take a lot of shots. And for artwork in particular, you have to get really good at writing prompts that the AI understands. That actually brings us perfectly into idea number 4, which is selling prompt packs. I saw this prompt pack on a website called Gumroad, which is just a website where you can sell a bunch of different assets or courses or digital download things like this prompt pack. It's just a digital download of a bunch of ChatGPT prompts that are supposed to help you build out a website without having to learn code for yourself. Now, he's actually selling a bunch of different bundles here at several different prices, but personally, I doubt that he's writing out thousands of prompts by hand. I think that he's using ChatGPT to come up with ChatGPT prompts to sell. Obviously, I wondered who's buying this, and I still have no idea. But 6,000 sales at least $50 a piece. Not to mention, this guy has several other prompt packs for sale. He has everything from SEO to crypto trading and even a digital product prompt pack on how to make digital products. The point is, I think that as AI evolves, so will the demand for knowing how to write great prompts. To get the most out of any AI tool, you have to know how to communicate with it, and this is just proof that people are willing to pay to learn how to do that. From what I can tell, this seller is just putting all of the prompts that the AI spits out into a Notion document that gets sent to whoever buys it. I think selling prompt packs is similar to how people make add-ons for applications like Photoshop. I don't know how long these prompt packs are going to be selling for, but they sell well right now. So it could be a good digital product to try and make, especially if you're able to use the AI to do it. That brings us to idea number 5, which is definitely the most unique on the list, and that's selling fonts. You probably already know that there are a lot of great free font options out there, but people, and especially business owners, are willing to dish out big cash for custom fonts that they can't get anywhere else. On this website, Creative Market, people will sell their font packs anywhere between $15 up to $30 each. And then it costs even more depending on what type of commercial rights you need in order to use the font. And again, remember, this is the type of product that you're selling to other business owners who have money to spend on a product like this. These can either be super creative and fancy, or a lot more minimal and based kind of on an existing font. Now look, this is going to be one of the more difficult products since you have to learn how the fonts are made and what actually makes a font good. But if you get it right, it can be a high-ticket, evergreen selling product. There's a lot of free software out there that you can use to make this type of product, such as FontForge, but I've also personally used this website called Calligrapher, which lets you upload individual characters and then turn it into a downloadable, usable font. I think this is mostly meant for handwriting, where you just write in each character and then you upload it to the website and you can download your handwriting as a usable font. But my idea was that you could use a tool like Midjourney AI to generate each character and then upload those instead. Honestly, just like with everything, I think that there's no real shortcuts, and to make good money, you have to learn a valuable skill that saves someone else time or makes them money. This is one of those skills, and it definitely works if you're willing to put in the time. Now, out of the digital products that sell on Etsy's marketplace, product number 6 is one of the all-time best-selling and higher ticket digital products that sell, and that's a digital life planner. Planners like this one just help you plan out certain details in your life. It's sort of like a calendar, and they can sell thousands of times. So at $15 a download, it can really add up. It's estimated on ListingView that single listing has brought in over $1 million, and the shop that's selling it has made nearly $5 million in the last 5 years and 9 months. The quick math on that means that the shop is making nearly $800,000 a year selling digital planner downloads. And that's almost all profit. That's over $66,000 a month in profit. I didn't even calculate that earlier, but that's definitely the new clickbait for this video. That one planner is also not the only planner that sells really well. For example, this is another shop that's basically only selling these types of planners. But the cool thing about this shop specifically is that they have done their over $400,000 just in the last 2.5 years. I also don't think that this product is as difficult to make as it sounds. Most planners are just rows and columns that users can fill up with their own goals and plans. And for the most part, you're basically just making the first few pages and then duplicating them for every week, month, or year. You could really use any tool to make this, like Canva, GoodNotes, Notability, or NoteShelf. Just like with anything digital, there's no real headache or any issues once you create the product. Now, the next idea is probably the most controversial and the one that the least amount of people actually want to do, but that's selling a mini course. Back on this website I just mentioned called Gumroad, I found this course which teaches you everything that this person knows about how to grow a following on X, or what used to be Twitter. They teach the method that got them to making $100 a day using their Twitter account, and the course sells pretty well. Even assuming they only ever sold the cheaper $200 course option, you can see that they've made over $1.5 million from this course. The cool thing about this website, Gumroad, is that you can sell products on it without having to have some kind of pre-existing audience. When people come on here and search for something like a course, if you have something posted for sale, there's a chance that it'll show up and someone will want to buy it. For example, this YouTube automation course is a very similar story, and it has over 30,000 sales with a nearly 5-star rating. If you have specific knowledge to share, I think that a course is a great way to help people out. People that pay for information are much more likely to actually act upon it. I mean, just think about all the people who go to college. They're paying for an education that they could get for free using ChatGPT online, which means these days people are actually paying for a more personalized experience and a roadmap for how to get to where they want to go. Now, I am biased because I sell a course which teaches everything that I know about how to sell print-on-demand and digital products on Etsy's marketplace. It's a little over 5 hours long, but the students who buy the course and go through it are much more likely to see success than the people who only consume free content. When they pay, they're much more likely to study and take it serious and actually apply the things they learn. Now, when you have any kind of following online, it obviously makes it easier to sell any of your products, but websites like Gumroad and Skillshare let you sell digital products like these without having a following. But that brings us to the next digital product on the list, which happens to be my personal favorite right now because it's the one that I'm working on, and that's selling a single feature software. Now, I know that it sounds like the hardest thing that you can do, but as someone who's entering their second year full-time into the software game, I can tell you that getting a one-feature software launched is not that difficult. I follow this guy on Twitter named Mark Lau, and he documents his entire journey building software. He even publicly tracks all the revenue that he's making from each one of the softwares that he's built, which I think is pretty cool. And a lot of them are single feature softwares, meaning they only really do one main thing. For example, this tool called Zenvoice, it automates the process of sending customers an invoice after they purchase your product through Stripe. So it's a super simple software in principle, and it's really nice for people that sell products exclusively through Stripe. For only 50 to 60 bucks, you can get access to it. The idea is really simple, and executing this isn't nearly as hard as it sounds once you get over that first initial learning curve. If you've never made anything in the software world, it probably feels super intimidating. At least that's what I felt when I was first getting started. But if you're just realistic about it, a lot of other people have successfully made software products, so why couldn't you? A single feature software is great for beginners because you're only trying to make one feature at a time and you know exactly what you're trying to do. That's what I did with my first software, which was a simple Printify product uploader. Essentially, it just automated the process of uploading t-shirt designs that I had made to products on Printify. I personally coded the very first version, and it took me about 3.5 weeks to get something working. These days, it's a much more robust version with a lot more features, and it's making a lot more money, but I didn't start out that way. At this point, I have 2 software products. So I have Listing View, which helps you do product and shop research on Etsy's platform. And then I have Prelist, which helps you automate the process of creating your products in Printify, as well as managing your inventory for your shop. If you can't tell, those are sort of all the businesses I've been doing for the last 6 years. Both softwares started out really small, and over time, you can keep adding individual features. If you want to do this, I definitely recommend only starting with one idea. You don't need a full website that does a bunch of different things. Plus, with the AI tools that we have these days, it's even easier to get started than it was back when I got started a few years ago. Software is my next big business that I'm getting into, so if you want to see more videos talking about it, or talking about any of the other ideas that I've talked about today, then be sure to subscribe and leave a comment down below, and I'll talk to you soon.